Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my repeating subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about the parent gift that 45 have received from one of the Middle Eastern countries. We're not exactly sure what one it is, but we're going to find out in a minute. We're going to find out what country gave a quid pro plane to Donald J. Trump. So that's what we're going to find out in today's video. But this video is being recorded on none other than Tuesday, May 13th at 8:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as of when I am recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing to the bell icon, engaging with the content, and just interacting with the content some way, either while watching the video longer than normal, even better yet, sharing this video content with others. Really help out the channel grow tremendously. Now, this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for educational purposes only as well. If you want to be notified when I do post and upload, go into the comment section below and follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group if you want to be notified when I do post and upload. I do have a donation link if you do want to donate. Again, a lot of you guys have been asking for a donation link, so I have started to include it. But eventually, after a certain period of time, I will start reminding you that it's in the description and the comment section. But in the meantime, let's go ahead, let's begin. Let's find out what happened. This is interesting development that happened pretty recently. Um, we talked about the possibility of our Air Force One plane getting shot down, stuff like that. We also talked about, what's it called, 45 and Saudi Arabia and that type of visit. So if you want to watch those two videos, I'll put them at the end of the video of this video, and I'll also include them in the description. But it's interesting if you really think about it in hindsight. We've been talking about planes in the Middle East for about less than a week now. But it's interesting that this has come to the forefront. So let's go ahead, let's take a look at what's on the news right now. Again, this is a blind meeting, so I have no idea what exactly we're going to be covering. But let's go ahead, let's begin anyway. So I'm taking a look right now. Trump received plane. Now, a lot of Republicans either voicing a complaint against this, and a lot of them are actually very vocal saying that it's not. So let's take a quick look and let's find out. It says here, Trump defends plan to use Qatari luxury jet for Air Force One. Now, we talked about this a long time ago where I said that there was some foreign adversary, if you will, who is looking and seeking to essentially take down the president, and it has to do with the Middle East. And this is a vision or a dream that I had back in 2020. And I will put the link to that video in the description as well if you want to watch that video. I did do a revisitation of that video very recently. I'll show you the video in case you guys are interested. I feel like a lot of you guys would like to go ahead and watch that video. There's the original one, and then there is the updated one. But now that it's coming to the forefront and starting to make more sense and more clarity, well, we're going to have to do a part 3. So keep an eye out for that as well. But let's go ahead and let's take a look. Let's see where it is. So this is the Air Force One plane crash video. This is the vision. This is the revisitation. So a lot of you guys have actually went out and watched that video. Again, that is the video that I'm talking about. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. There's 2 videos of plane crashes. The one from the original. There's the new updated one. And then we have the one where I talked about Saudi Arabia and a trip. Yeah. Okay, anyway, besides the point, let's go ahead, let's begin. Then I'll do a second video of this series, the plane crash. Again, an updated series to that. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's start, let's see what we're getting into today. Let's go from there. Alright. Spirits Angels tell me. Donald John Trump received a plane from the Qatari, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Qatari country, the native country of Qatari, planning to use that new luxury jet or plane as the brand new Air Force One. Can you tell us more about this? Tell us more about what happened with the interaction and why 45 was given a plane? Because they're both coming in with proposals. So this is telling me here that the countries were agreeing to something on a world stage. So this is something that has to do with globally. So this is definitely global matter, and this is an agreement of some sort. It has to do with a ceasefire. So the first card that comes in is the Knight of Cups. Right, the Knight of Cups. This feels very much like the Qatari country or the government in Qatari. This is what it feels like, the Knight of Cups. Right, coming in with a proposal, an idea, an offer. Here, this is 45. What 45 can offer them. Right? So there is a mutual agreement here. Now remember, the mutual agreement is a little bit on the darker side. 45 doesn't have good intention. And they understand that. They know who Donald Trump is. They know what kind of character that he is. So the Qatari basically installed something on that plane that if they back out of the plan, then the Qatari has full control of the presidency in some way. So there's something here with the mechanical aspect, the technological advancement of that plane that will control and dictate the presidency, further giving the nation of Qatari, full control of the United States and its military. So in some way, the Knight of Cups is essentially getting control of the presidency himself. So there is some sort of control here, but it's a way of leverage if 45 does not follow through on their plan. Going into the deal though, the treatment and whatever they agreed to, we have here an ending of something coming to with certainty. So this is something that has been decided. It is something that has been decided about something in the world sphere. So it has to do in something in regard to the world, whether this is tariff, whether this is oil, whether this is gas, whether this is war. It's something that is big and it's on the minds of a lot of Americans. This is the way to kind of keep Americans happy by saying, hey, listen, I was able to lower the prices of this, and that, et cetera, et cetera. That is the type of energy 45 is trying to do to further push his long-term agenda. We do have this card, which is the Seven of Swords reversed. This is the sealing of something. No, this is a mutual agreement, which is, like I said, 45 came in with a proposal. Qatari came in with a proposal, but the color difference between the two is astronomically different. Right? They're very different. 45 is gray, while Qatari is colored, which indicates that 45 does not have good intention with this proposal and less likely to follow through on it. The Qatari is more likely to have better intention, but they always know who they're up against and they're willing and able to ensure that they themselves have the leverage and upper hand at all times. That's what it feels very much like. We do also have here the final outcome card though. It's either two things. It's either to ceasefire or stop a ceasefire some way, to either initiate a war, or it is them fighting, which essentially means that the Qatari Empire, the Qatari country or government is in some way in cahoots or is going to be up against, possibly this is potentially telling us the future, but the Five of Wands here could be telling us, excuse me, the Five of Wands here could be either indicating to us that there could be a war, that there could be a ceasefire of that war, or better yet, there could be a falling out between the Qatari government and 45, the regime here in the United States. So that is kind of like what it could be indicating. Now let's take a look from a different perspective here. Because tarot is never wrong. I always said this many times before. It's always interpreted as incorrect. But it's tarot that is never incorrect. Tarot is always right. It's whether or not you have the vocabulary to properly interpret the energy that you feel and witness. Doesn't mean that you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you have the vocabulary that is sufficient enough and suffice enough in order to read that. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. We have a lot to cover. But the Knight of Cups here, coming in with an offer. Both of them coming in an offer. That's pretty much stable here. However, this is saying that the decision has been decided on the world stage. It has nothing to do with behind the scenes. It's just something that's in the forefront, something that we are aware of in regards to war. So again, something has been decided on the world stage publicly. That's something in regards to war, whether that is starting a war, ending a war, or ceasefire. So I guess in this aspect here, it seems to be pretty much the same. Alright. let's ask some more questions. Maybe I don't need a part 3. Maybe I can make this a part 3. Okay. Spirit angels tell me, will 45 accept the offer of this plane from the Qatari government? Will 45, Donald John Trump, the President of the United States, accept the plane from the Qatari government? We have the Ace of Pentacles. This is like a bartering system, what it feels like. It feels very much like a bartering system rather than a financial transaction. This is a way to send in money that's unclean. That's what it feels like. It feels like the money that's supposed to be transferred is unclean. So in order to do it, like most people will do, art. Art is a great way to funnel money because art has no value. But it's the buyer who creates that value. The same concept could be applied here, that the plane has no initial value except its manufacturing value, and then it's the buyer who sets the value. So in this aspect here, it's a bartering system to funnel money in through indirect means of funneling something. So there's something here being funneled. Here you have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. It tells me it's not exactly paid for, but it's a bartering system, which is the challenge here, right? The agreement. It's a part of an agreement, which is the Two of Cups. The top of the deck here, we have the Nine of Cups reversed, looking at things from a smaller perspective, from a smaller lens, right? So there is a little bit more than what meets the eye, which means certain things are hidden for why this came into play. We do have here again contract, Three of Pentacles, which tells me somebody's not going to follow through on the contract, right? We have here somebody coming in with a proposal and somebody dumping the cups. And that's kind of like what it is. Remember I told you guys how about like there's a possibility of falling out between the Qatari government and 45. Well, in this aspect, we might be witnessing this, where the Qatari government walked away from an agreement or a proposal in relation to 45, even despite signing that contract. We do have here as well, we do have the Chariot, which tells me that things are not going to move very smoothly 40-45 in the Qatari regime. However, the Queen of Pentacles, the Qatari government, is after something. They're after something, and it has to do with minerals. I'm getting energy of minerals or oil, but it has to do with something with earthly resources, if you will. We do have here in the bottom of the deck here, we have the 10 of Swords, which tells me there is a betrayal that's coming, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And we do have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles here is a very interesting card because it talks about here something's being set into motion, but betrayal that has not been set into motion. So because it has not been set into motion, this is something that's coming later down the line, but it possibly could be indicated by 45. So 45 could be the initiation, which is why the Qatari walks away from a government, a contract that's already signed. So that would make a lot of sense why that would happen. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look and ask the question, did the Qatari government plan to use the plane in any other way than to fly? Did the Qatari government plan to use the plane that they are gifting Donald John Trump, the President of the United States? Or do they have a plan to use that plane for anything other than flying? I'm hearing the word could be. It could be, but it really hangs in to the individual themselves. Okay. So if you are new here, welcome. Any color cards here means that is major arcana. Anything that is color white means that is minor arcana. I made this up, and it worked very well. Now, Spirit Angels tell me about the Qatari government and its plan to use the plane that is given Donald John Trump. What is his plan to use the plane for? And will it cause any harm to the President of the United States or anybody within his administration? What is their intention here? What is their intention? Now, the reason why, again, we're asking the question because I had a vision a long time ago that something was going to get shot down out of the sky in regards to the a plane, and 45 was in some way in that plane, but he survived the plane crash in some way. Now, 45 has said that he is going to use the Qatari plane as, quote, the new Air Force One. So that's interesting. So, Spirits and Angels, tell me, what is the intention of the Qatari government to use the plane for Donald Trump? What is the original intention? I'm hearing the harm. Okay. So there is an intention here, the original intention. So 45 must have pissed this country off at some point, to the point where they're willing to essentially go to war with the United States. Okay. Spirit Angels, tell me. Tell me, what is the new intention of this plane after the contract and the possible falling out? Well, will they fall out? Will 45 and the Qatari government be out of favor and be at odds? I'm hearing the yellow. Okay, and what is the full intention of the plane for 45? What's the full intention? This is the full intention. Okay, so this is the beginning intention. Well, this is the relationship between 45 and the Qatari government. This is the intention for the reading. This is the intention when it was created. What is the original purpose? What it's designed to do for that specific reason. So the first card that comes in here is we have Senate. Senate, which means legislative. So this is the governmental branch. We have here the reverse. Move forward. Well, I guess it's not reverse. It's move forward. So something's moving forward. And what is moving forward? We have machines and AI. So this has to do with technology. So at least we have a little bit of an idea what the technological agreement was. It has to do again with something with minerals or oil. Something has to do with earthly what do you call it? An earthly resource that 45 and the Qatari government is looking for, but it's in relation to machines and AI. Now, what's really interesting as well, this is the intention. The intention was to create a highly technologically advanced machinery. Now, what is the relationship between Qatari government and 45? It's fire, it's reverse. It's not very much fire, it's not passionate, it's not one, it's one of emotional complex, so one of water, with the water element, which is an emotional complex, one of air, and one of earth. At some points in time, they're very grounded. Others are very kind of floaty and kind of near. And others are strongly emotional and a very strongly emotional connection. So what is it telling me? It's telling me here that this is not a very fiery, passionate relationship, but rather one that's built on emotional trust with one another. When somebody betrays the other individual emotionally, they will react emotionally. And we all know how that normally goes. When you react with emotion, you're not thinking clearly, and therefore you're more likely to do more destructive in nature. You're more likely to be destructive in nature. Now, as we start to go into the full intention of the reading, what was the intention here of them using the plane? We have here look the other way. So it's almost like, don't look at what we're doing. This is a distraction. We're using it as a distraction. Right? Underneath the machines in AI, what's the new intention? What's the intention now that they're giving it away? Well, let's take a look. We have here to strike, to cry, okay, and no. So this could be very interesting as well. So let's go ahead, let's revisit that in a minute. The first card is we have the world card reversed. The world card means underground. So something is underground in the government that there's a plan here that's being hashed. Right? This is the status in agreement. Now remember we said before, there was no plan yet that has been hashed. There was nothing that's set in motion in terms of his intention to do anything. But the Senate is telling me here that something is underground in terms of government. So underground government, a hidden form, maybe a hidden plan. Possibly the reason why I can't get the information directly, because this information is hidden. So if this was a plan, it would be something that is hidden that has not been orchestrated publicly. Now, the Senate, though, is very interesting because the Senate is known for investigation, which is the word that I'm getting, investigation behind the scene, right? Investigating behind the scenes. So the Senate, it could be literal. This could be in a direct investigation of 45 taking this plane. It could be something very simple as well, that the Senate could be also indicating that they're the government behind the scene that is working to do something with this plane, whether it may be of good or a bad intention. Regardless, there's something here that's hidden behind the scene, and there's a possible investigation of some sort. We do also have here as well a hidden government agreement. Here, moving into this section here, this quadrant, we have here move forward, which is represented by the color of red or pink, which means I understand who I am. And I understand who I am because the color also red, not only though it's pink, which means I understand, it also means red, which represents the root chakra, which means I am, move forward in this aspect here. It means to move ahead. To move ahead, keep going, go in a different direction, keep moving forward. What does mean moving forward? Well, the presidency or the government is not moving forward. Something's moving backwards. Something's moving in the opposite direction of moving forward. What's also interesting as well, that something's not being hacked directly with the Seven of Pentacles. Looking at your option, weighing your option, and being very cautious. This is somebody who's not very cautious. So what is interesting is saying that, no, don't worry about the plane, not the plane is completely fine. You know, we did our thing, we did the best we could. Don't worry about what's wrong with it. Just move forward. And here, if you see a problem, just make sure you look the other way. That's the intention here. So what is the intention overall? Is that the intention is that if 45 intuition or something is going off and going haywire, and he's like, oh, something feels a little bit strange about this plane, they're essentially trying to tell him, oh, don't worry about it, look the other way, there's no problem, you know. You're just overthinking it. That's kind of like gaslighting. It feels very much like gaslighting energy. Whereas the center is kind of like something that's hidden, a hidden plan that is not yet public, something that's hidden, if you will. That's why it's underground and it's a center or governmental agency or plan. Now remember, the Senate is also a very legislative branch, which tells us here that they create plans and they pass laws. In this aspect here, what the Senate and the World Card Reverse could mean is that there is a plan that's being made underground or hidden, naked to the public eye, which could be indicating here, which is why I'm saying move forward with the Emperor reverse and the Seven of Pentacles reverse, with telling you to look the other way, to not see the obvious and to not think too much about it. Now going into these two cards here, I want to clearly separate a lot further than these two cards. You have here machines and AI, right? What is the intention here? The intention is technological advancement. I'm not very confident that this plane in particular would even have too many captains or too many crew members, which could be very well set off the stage for not only technological advancement and technological improvement, but this could also be indicating the energy of like the Titanic, where there's not enough of something and it failed and something could have been prevented had they had a certain amount. In that aspect, I'm talking about lifeboats, but in this aspect here, I'm talking about crew members. There's not as many crew members, I just say Air Force One, and therefore there's something here with machines and AI that makes this plane weaker than it should be. And here the strength card is reverse. The strength is reverse. So what is the strength of this plane? The plane is actually weak. It's not necessarily up to par. So I feel like Qatari government, remember, the Qatari government is a very small country. Chances are they don't have a lot of resources, but yet a strong economy. So how can they give him the best plane if the country is so tiny that it may not be able to produce or generate a certain amount of revenue to produce planes that are up to date en masse, right? It's not, if the country of the United States is unable to do that, who to say a very small nation in the Middle East is able to do the same, right? So that's the whole idea, that's the whole concept, is understanding that specific piece. We do also have here, we do have followed by the King of Pentacles. This is represented by 45. This is a plan that's being hatched, right? So something is being hatched, something is being grown, but again, it's telling me here that you know, something is coming to fruition. Now, this plane does feel like very much so that this plane, if he continues to use this plane, it's likely to crash or go down, particularly because it's not a very strong plane. But it doesn't feel like it's going to happen right away. It may take a couple of years, it may take a couple of weeks, may even take a couple of days. but the more it's being used, the more likely it is to crash. Now, also reminds you as well, I'm also getting an indication here that a lot of the machinery is in Qatari language or Arabic. I don't know if they speak Arabic, I'm not exactly sure. But if they do speak Arabic, I'm seeing native language here as the most common barrier and for the reason for the direct failure of the machines working and operating that plane. So what is going on here? What's going on here that we talked about here, that there is an intention here possibly to give away a plan or give away a plane to the President of the United States in exchange for something like a bartering system. Then they have a plan that possibly could be hatched behind the scenes. A plan that's being created has not yet been created yet. It's a plan to move forward and gaslight the president or gaslight Secret Service or whatever it is. To gaslight them just thinking, oh, this plane is up to par, it's up to date, doesn't really matter, but we can go ahead and use it. It must be a luxury plane, but there's not as many crew members, because remember, the crew members are probably not going to get paid. So in essence, they're not going to go on a plane that they're not going to get paid for, particularly be away from home or be away from family. It also says here to look the other way. Now, it also talks about this plane specifically being in relation to machines and AI and its strength and its ability to navigate the plane, which tells me there's a less amount of crew members, which might be indicating there's not many captains flying that plane, or better yet, those captains that are going to be flying the plane for the President of the United States have to be of Native American descendant because they need to be able to speak the native language in order to interact with the president himself. So because of that type of DEI policy that was removed, essentially 45 is setting the stage for somebody who takes over the plane not to understand the native language in which the plane was created in, and therefore they're not able to fully operate at a functional capacity the plane to be able to fly at full capacity without breaking down or something bad happening. Again, I'm getting the energy here as well in experience. We also have here the King of Pentacles telling me this is something that a plane that's going to do quite well for itself for a little bit. This has to do with a lot of luxury, which is represented by the King of Pentacles, right? Has a lot of luxury. You bought into this idea, you've probably flown this plane, you probably joked around with the guy and said, I could buy this plane. The guy said, you know what, we'll give it to you if you give us this. And he said, deal. And that's essentially the energy that's coming off. But you got to realize that the plane was created and was made for the country of Qatari. But because Qatari is a very small nation, it's not able to probably keep up to date with all these planes because there's such a small GDP, it's unable to do just that. Now, going to this part of the reading, again, they are very emotional, if you will. They're very airy. They go with the flow. So again, how are they interacting between Qatari government and President of the United States? Well, they're very emotionally in tuned in some way. So whatever their emotion is, they react with emotions. So that could be very badly, that could end up very good. It depends on the circumstance of the time in which it's happening. It also is indicating as well there's air, so they go with the flow, but they can speed things up a little faster than they should. And then the other one as well, which is grounded, the grounded energy, but things could wake up and tremble. Right? So it does all, what the three elements here tell us is that they're going to be strong at some point, but they're going to be very weak at others, and it could be officially over when the emotional outburst starts to overshadow the air and the grounded energy, which is the earth. And then we have here, what is the new intention here? We have shrike, which means to cry, and no. So no, it doesn't feel very much like, what to call it? It doesn't feel like very much so that it's going to happen right away, but this is the intention, right? The yellow card means solar plexus, means I do, right? I do, I take an action. What do? I strike, right? But what am I not what am I communicating? I'm communicating, no, I'm not going to strike. But you see the difference here is that this is gaslighting and saying, no, you're not going to strike. But what's behind the scenes? What are you doing? You're striking. So again, what is the energy here? The energy is telling us, again, that there's something here with the plane that could be indicating fallout. Now, I want to take a look and see what the original intention is 45 to use this plane for, and whether or not we can kind of get a better understanding. Let's see. Okay, Trump said it would be stupid to not to accept the gift of Qatari plane. Trump's eye a Qatar $400 million luxury jet is already causing a stir. While America pushing America first, Trump said to accept Qatar's luxury jet at Air Force One. So he planned to transition it to Air Force One. So it does feel like in some way there is ill intent here in some way. There seems to be neglect. There seems to be a lack of inexperience, a machine failure, the inability to read and operate the machine at full capacity because the people who are running the machine don't know how to read the native language in which that machine was created. And because of that, well, the machine fails. So what does this mean? It means that it's not one outlier event, but a series of events that lead to the desired outcome that the government has not yet hashed, but is planning to hash. So again, is it going to be seen as a terrorist attack? Probably not. But how is it going to be perceived? It's going to be perceived as, what do you call it, mechanical error, if you will, or something that could have been avoided had it been kept up to date. But will the country be blamed? Yeah, the country will be blamed for that, absolutely, with certainty. They will consider that a terrorist organization and they plan to assassinate the president. But in reality, it's mechanical error and neglect that have caused this. So there's two very complex things. I mean, remember, once you hand something over, like a car, you go to a car dealership, you buy a leased car. It's been quite used for a while, right? You remember what happened when you have something that's leased? It doesn't last that long. And the same thing is here. You're leasing a plane, technically, without paying the government, or I don't know what they're even doing. I don't know what the plan is, because it's a blind reading. But anyway, besides the point, you're leasing a plane. That plane is probably not up to date, which is probably why they're willing to give it to you. Right? If you got something new, are you likely to give it away to somebody if you just got it and it's brand new? No. But if it's something that you use for a while and now you don't care for it, are you likely to give it away? Yeah. Now you answered that question. Now let's ask the last question. Last question, spirits and angels. Tell me. Tell me, spirits and angels. What is there a high probability that 45 could die on this plane if he uses it as Air Force One? I don't see a death card here, so that's a sign for him. You have the Ace of Wands in the air. Top of the deck, we have the Ace of Pentacles. As long as he funds and keeps the plane up to check, amidst the chaos and remain calm, hope you fine. And here we have Betrayal in reverse. Remember I told you in the past too, earlier in the reading, I said that he's not likely to die, he'll survive it, but he will be involved in some type of plane crash. So let me just take a look. Is there a likely, oh hold on, let's actually use that. I'm seeing 9/11 card in here. So let's see if we can get it. Okay. Spirit Angels tell me. What is the likelihood chance of Donald John Trump being involved in a plane crash now that he's accepting a luxury $400 million luxury plane from the Qatari government in exchange for something else? Is there a higher likely chance of Trump being involved in a plane crash in some capacity? There a higher chance of Trump being involved in a plane crash in some in a higher capacity? And they're telling me this is the final outcome here. This will answer our question. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's take a look. Okay, ooh, we have fire, that's not a good sign already. We have air, ooh, okay. We have here Capricorn. Then we have here the Five of Cups reverse. Top of the deck, Strength, which means the oppression. Okay. Then we have here the Ace of Swords. Interesting. What's behind the Strength card? It's Contract in reverse with the High Priestess in reverse. And here you have the two wands here. Two wands here, something not being orchestrated in correct manner. Then you have here Charity, Anonymous. So we're not exactly sure 100% what is going to happen because it's still yet to be determined. Because it feels like it's more individual as well, like it's based off on neglect or inability to keep it up to date. So it kind of feels like it's a mix. So going into the reading here, the likely plausibility and possibility that Donald Trump could, what they call, experience a plane crash in some way. Let's take a look. We have the Four of Pentacles reversed. The Four of Pentacles reversed is telling me here that being able to hold on, it feels like it's very much like he's out of control in some way of this plane. So there's something here that's telling me that it's in control. Something is in control, but something's out of control. Something's out of order. And here you have the Five of Wands here, trying to fight for something. Something's being fought. Something being disagreed with. Tell me there's something with miscommunication on this plane. So if this was an outcome here, I'm not saying it's likely to occur, but it's an outcome. And it's telling the story here that 45 is in control, but also not in control. There is miscommunication in something. There's something in airways here that's telling us there's miscommunication. With the Four of Swords, which tells us there is a death coming, not a physical one, but it's just a physical ending of some sort. A physical ending. And what is that physical ending called? It calls it the Ten of Pentacles reversed, which means that the Ten of Cups reversed, which tells us not a happy ending, not a happy start, right, if you will. And here you have 45, which is represented by the King of Pentacles, right, the King of Pentacles. But actually, this very well could kill him, actually. Knock on wood. This plane crash doesn't necessarily mean anymore, now that I'm reading on it, doesn't necessarily mean that he could survive this plane crash, depending on how much of the guilt that he has and how much neglect he put on this plane. This is the King of Pentacles. We do also have here as well, we do have the Six of Pentacles reversed, which is this little like scale, and it's on justice side, which is telling me here that justice will be on the side of those who he did wrong. Which tells me very much so that like if 45 was involved in a plane crash, it could lead to its ending, and it could be causing justice to be served in some way, whether it's nature's way of justice or is humanity able to get the justice that is seeking as a collective, but in some way there is a justice that's being served. So it's interesting because we have here with the Four of Pentacles reversed, which means out of control, but something else is in control, not 45. There's miscommunication, and because of the miscommunication, it leads to an ending of some sort, which is a political ending, which is the Four of Swords reversed, which is not a happy ending for 45, which is represented by the King of Pentacles, and justice is served. So this could be actually one of the ways that Trump could possibly die. We do have here as well, underneath the Four of Pentacles reverse, is the Fire card, which we asking about what the likely plausibility and possibility that 45 could see and experience a crash, if you will. And here you have is fire. We have the 26th, so fire. So there could be a crash here, actually. There could be something wrong with the engine. And it has to do something with the air. So remember how I said that there could be miscommunication? Right, miscommunication with the air traffic controllers, which is represented by the air card here. So remember, something is out of control, something's inability to be in control of, which means this has to be something that's outside human nature to control. This could be a fire. You can't control a fire on a plane. I'm sorry about that, but it's on the exterior engine and you're in the sky, you're not going to be able to control that. That's something that's like you're out of control of. Underneath this Four of Swords, though, you have here Capricorn, which could indicate a war, right? Remember I talked about a political ending, and it could be almost like in some way that at the end we have the five of Wands here could indicate a war beginning or initiation of something, or someone being blamed for something. This is Capricorn, right? A war energy. And it's reversed by the Five of Cups, which means fulfillment. Right, the Five of Cups card, if you really watch it right away, means 4 cups. I mean, I think it was 3 cups down, 2 cups up. But in this aspect here, it's 4 cups filled, 1 cup down. So it's a little bit the opposite here. It's telling me here that there's something you yet to drink for. Like, this is not something that's yet in the plan. This is not something that's yet in the works. This is something that's just happened, if you will. And here you have the Ace of Pentacles, something being handed in the sky with the King of Cups. Now, I do want to ask the final card here, which has the coffin card directly, and ask him, does he have a high chance of dying on this plane? Not saying with definitiveness, I'm not getting 100% definitive. This is not going to be his nail in the coffin thing, but this could be one of the ways that he dies. Okay, Spirit Angels tell me, will Donald Trump accepting this plane from the Qatari government be the thing that kills him? Will this plane be the thing that leads to Donald Trump's death? Yes or no? We have here no. We have it, actually, you know what? Hold on, we have marriage, the division. Division of the body, mind, body, spirit, but it also means the division between the physical and the spiritual body or the soul. This could be a marriage, something that's being divided. We have the thief, right? 24. The president who was elected in the year of 24. Was it 2024, right? Then we have here the bottom of the deck here. We have unexpected income, unexpected idea of a mature man. So an unexpected gift of a mature man who leads to a coffin. So it could very well be we have occupation of a president who is not yet in despair. But because he's not yet in despair, a time will come where he will find himself in poverty. He will find himself with nothing. Because he finds himself in nothing, there's an area of concern. So eventually it's telling us here that there will be a plausibility and possibility where this could very well lead to a situation where it could possibly lead to 45 death. Now let's see. Is this likely to occur? Yes or no? Is this outcome likely to occur? Or is this one of the many plausibilities Trump could die? Expectation. So we're asking here that there could be one of the plausibilities that could happen up until the 2028 election. Yeah, we have concern here. So there's concern with the plane. So there is concern by the spiritual world, and there is expectation that this possibility could happen with the official president. So yeah, it does feel like it is a possibility. It's not set in stone. Like I said, it's a plan that has not yet been hatched, but it's something that, again, could lead to his death. And this is thoughts in reverse, which is 16, the number 16, which is thoughts, a woman in reverse, and here you have sudden wealth in reverse. 777, lucky, reverse. Lucky number is reverse. Remember, we told you many times in my videos that Trump luck has run out many times. You know, this will be one of those things that makes him unlucky. You know, he gotten to the point where that is going to be the obvious case. Now, Spirit Angels tell me, show me a plane. Show me a plane if we are going to experience a possibility of the plane being shot down or something going on with the plane while 45 is inside that plane or his administration is inside that plane that he's taken, his luxury plane. We have the two of wands reverse. Okay, show me. Here we have Cancer, which is the so two of wands here means neglect. So it is telling me here that there is energy here of neglect. Then the 10 of cups reverse to tell me happy endings in reverse, not happy times, which is not happy time for Cancer, which is an energy that indicates the United States, because the United States is a Cancer card. What is crossing the 4 of Swords and the 5 of Wands here and the 4 of Pentacles? What is crossing this? We have the 7 of Wands, the ability to contain something. The ability to contain something is reversed. And the 5 of Swords here, which means what's called war or military action. So again, there could be indication here that something is going to happen, and it's in relation to this plane. Top of the deck here, we have the 9 of Pentacles reversed. Luck has run out. Luck has run out in the Aries time, which means this is ending. This is luck is over. We are actually in the Aries energy right now, but we have just ended, or we're about ending with Venus in Aries. And at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Aquarius energy, which is the people's energy. We are now very much into Aquarius, which represents 32, which is telling me here that the Aquarius energy is indicating that the Empress may fall. Right? Okay. And here at the 6 swords reversed. So it's not a terrorist attack. It's not a domestic terrorist attack. It really hangs on multiple different factors. It's just something, again, domestic, neglect, the ability to keep the plane up to date, and whether or not the Qatari government takes matters in their own hand to ensure the president that the plane is up to date when it's really, in retrospect, not. Alright guys, again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys all next time. Until then, peace out. I love you.